While this series has been advertised as a low tiers run, we haven't gotten any truly terrible units yet. This changes here. We'll be getting 2 new units this chapter, Nimei on turn 1 and Colm on turn 2. We'll have to use Nimei to recruit Colm. Well, let's start on our unit evaluations. First up, Nimei. Foot archers are notoriously weak in the GBA Fire Emblem games, and she's no exception. Her base stats are incredibly low across the board, making it difficult for her to defeat enemies or take more than one blow without dying. Her strength stat is firmly unimpressive, and while her speed growth is high, her low con stat means we'll lose 4 points of speed if we try to upgrade to a steel bow, so even a trained Nimei struggles to deal enough damage to kill reliably. Additionally, the range restriction on bows makes it difficult to utilize archers on enemy phase, since she can be attacked for free at close range. While the ability to promote into a ranger has some promise, she remains fairly fragile, and wading into close range of swords is a great way to die spectacularly. Overall, Nimei feels somewhat high effort and low reward. She's generally considered to be a terrible unit, so we'll be using her for this playthrough. I don't plan on training her too much during this chapter. I'm still focusing on Ross until I can get his promotion. We'll be training Ross by attacking these 2 brigands on the right. They don't have hand axes, and we can attack them over the wall with range attacks for free. I'll move Nimei to the north to intercept Colm when he spawns on turn 2, and I'll have Ross attack the enemy for some free experience. We don't have anything else to do, this chapter is going to be a pretty slow grind. While my strategy for this chapter is not particularly efficient in terms of the time spent, nothing I'm doing here really counts as level grinding. I'm not using any source of repeatable experience, I'm just allocating the available experience on the chapter to the units I want to. If I allow Ross to kill most of the enemies in the chapter, I've got a real shot getting him to level 10 before the chapter finishes. When turn 2 begins, our friend Colm spawns in, who we can now recruit using Nimei. If you leave him to his own devices, he'll try to run around and open all of the chests on the map. Colm has low strength and terrible defenses, which is a fun combination for a unit that has to fight at close range. We can't even leverage his high speed stat to use a steel sword since he joins with 0 weapon experience and can't even use one. Colm's combat performance starts bad and doesn't get much better with training given that his promotional options are fairly unimpressive. Colm is yet another high-effort, low-reward unit to hold hands with Nimei all game in a desperate attempt to leverage support bonuses into giving us a chance at dealing any sort of damage. Colm is not a unit I would ever recommend seriously using in a no-grinding playthrough, outside of using his lockpick, so we'll be making every attempt to train him up for combat to use in this challenge. Oh boy. I spend the entire chapter having Ross throw his hatchet at bandits over walls, while Colm and Nimei go to get the chests. The supposedly fast Colm does not actually have enough speed to double this bandit. Whoopee. The chests in this chapter don't have very interesting loot. I believe it's just iron weapons, a hand axe, and a javelin, the kind of stuff we were able to buy from the armory in the previous chapter. We have to be a bit careful with Ross here. There's a hand axe bandit and an archer on the other side of the wall, and we can't have both of them attack me in the same turn or I might die. We have Ross constantly use vulneraries to heal his health and slowly take out the enemies, getting his level closer and closer to 10. Even though I sped up the footage to 400% speed, this does come off as a little bit slow. I checked the enemies' inventories on the right side to see if there's anything Colm can steal from them. Honestly, just a holy water and an antitoxin. Not items we particularly need, but anything we can steal is 10 more EXP on Colm. While I understand the appeal of training a weak unit and watching them grow from 0 to hero, the actual process of doing so can be a bit tedious. However, our effort is starting to pay off. Ross is gaining a lot of strength. He actually has more than Garcia has. Of course, we've had to put a lot of training to get Ross this far, so I'm not going to call him better. Now that we're mostly done having Ross throw axes, I have Gilliam break down the wall. I've removed the items from his inventory so the enemy thief won't steal them. By this point, my brain has turned to mush from having Ross throw a hatchet about 20 times, and I've completely forgotten about the stealable items, and I solidly butcher the bandit holding the pure water without thinking. This loss of a trivial 10 experience surely puts the entire run into jeopardy, because I don't know how else to train Colm. Unfortunately, it looks like I'll actually have to use him in combat. The last 2 enemies before the boss gives Ross enough experience to reach level 10, meeting our goal for the chapter. Unfortunately, we have neglected Colm and Nimei, who have not gained a single level. Hey, look, I can steal something. Honest question, have any of you actually used an antitoxin in Sacred Stones? I know I haven't. I creep up my units towards the boss. I want to kill him fairly quickly, so no one accuses me of using his regeneration as a form of boss abuse for experience. I leave units in close range so he keeps his steel axe out, allowing me to attack a Frost and Nimei if needed with range attacks. However, I get a critical hit and deal a lot of damage. Turns out, it wasn't necessary. That finishes chapter 3. Thank you for watching.